felt it would give us the best access to the strongest possible group of senior insurance decision makers.
Insurtech Insights is a must-do conference, I think, for the network that is built here.
Good to be here. We're going to be talking a little bit about Socotra Assistant, and ahead of that, for anyone who might not be familiar with Socotra, we're policy administration and billing, and uniquely, we were founded in 2014, and we're the only mainstream policy administration provider to be a cloud-native company. We've never owned a server, we've never customized our core for any customer at any point or any insurance product. It works like a Gmail, Office 365, Salesforce, Snowflake, Twilio, any of those actually modern enterprise software companies that we frequently use every day. What this means is that as open APIs, the difference between any two customers, any two insurance products, any two distribution channels is simply a matter of configuration. Everyone's always on the latest version. Now that means a few things for AI. First, it means that with the open documentation and configuration only, AI can configure it very, very easily. And we did a workshop just last month. We had 8 insurers there, and in 1 hour, every one of them was able to create an insurance product that could go live with only a human review. We're in a day right now because of vibe coding when you can't trust demos anymore. We're about to give a demo. But you name some requirements to me, I can show them to you tomorrow in a demo. This is why productization is so very, very important. Is it documented? Is it the same version that you're showing me, the same that customers are using in production? We have 50 customers in 13 countries, every one of them at all times on the latest version. What this also means for AI, we can set it up quickly, but because it's productized, that is the Socotra way of doing things. That's the modern software way of doing things. We also do AI the Socotra way. How many people here use Gmail? Everyone uses Gmail? Office 365, a few. I'm referring to Gmail because that's what I use. You're using Gmail. What happened one day? This little icon appeared. That's Gemini. That's a mature software company shipping AI. That's the model Socotra used. In the operations workbench, which we'll see in a moment, an icon appeared. That's the Socotra Assistant. And you've got AI. It takes a week to set up the prompts and such, but there's no custom coding involved. It's simply setting up prompts. The same as if you get a new account for Claude or ChatGPT, you need to tell it who you are and what you need to do, but you're not modifying the code. It's the same thing. And the bottom line for Socotra is that we're bringing a level of maturity to the insurance industry, maturity of software, enterprise software that just hasn't seen. So with that, I'm going to jump into, well, my colleague Matt here is going to jump into a demo to show you some example workflows. We're going to go through an underwriting workflow. We're going to go through an underwriting workflow where the Socotra Assistant is going to be the only one to touch the policy. And it's going to do direct interaction through email with the end client. And with the agent. We have to be careful in the use of agent these days, as it means multiple things. And everything that, all the functionality I've seen that you're going to see here is production functionality available to all our customers, documented on our website. The demos you're going to see, video demos on the website in short form. It's released for everyone to use, and therefore we're very, very public about exactly what it does. So Matt, what do we have here?
Yep, so I'm going to be showing the Socotra Assistant. What you're going to see is how it can help an underwriter in their day-to-day workflow speed up the process. So normally an underwriter gets details from maybe an agent or a broker in many different ways, emails, other forms. That's a lot of manual work for them to input. You're going to see the Socotra do this automatically. You're also going to see it generating things like extra insights that they otherwise wouldn't be able to see. So what you're looking at right now is an email coming from an agent, and there's previous context here from the customer about their drivers associated with their business. In this case, it's an HVAC business. They have a number of vehicles that they want insured. So they're looking to get commercial auto insurance coverage. And so this agent is going to be sending an email over to our underwriter. And you will notice also at the bottom, we have a couple of files there. So I'm going to send that, let that process in the meantime. And I'm going to look at those 2 files that were attached. This one is an Accord form. I'm sure many are familiar with it. It has all the details of the business, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. So we see some drivers here. Doesn't matter if it's typed in or handwritten, we're going to process that. And just another set of details, additional interest, general business details. There's also an Excel spreadsheet, right? So maybe the customer has provided this, and it includes all the information about all the vehicles they have. So information can come in a number of ways: Accord, Excel spreadsheets, and email, etc. Now, we're going to switch over to the underwriter's perspective. This is their dashboard. This is where they would come to look at their tasks or assignments for the day, just to figure out what they're going to do next. And as we can see here, a brand new task just came in that was created because of the email that was sent from the agent. I'm going to click into that. And on the right-hand side here, we have the Socotra Assistant. Now, I know it's a little bit hard to see. I'll zoom in a little bit here. We can see a summary of the task for the underwriter. I'm going to click on the Activity tab and scroll down, and you can see the email that came in. So they can also see all this context if they'd like, as well as the couple fields, the files that were included in that email. And next, what I'm going to do is associate this with an account. So Socotra Assistant is able to look at the email contents, the files, and determine which account is relevant here and this should be associated with. So it's suggested to us, but if it wasn't, we could also still search for an account or create a new account. So I'm going to go and I'm going to create this quote associated with Wellington HVAC. That's the customer's business name. And now, as you can see here, we've got the operations workbench, and I'll pass it back to Dan for a second.
So, very typical situation. You're an underwriter, an agent, send you an email with a whole bunch of files attached, no particular format. The email is free form. We don't know what you're going to get there. And we have to somehow make sense of it. Furthermore, because Socotra as a core product is completely product agnostic, it's agnostic to what your line of business is, that's all done in configuration. So what the Socotra Assistant is doing here is it's making sense of that email and all of the attachments, and then aligning it to your particular product as you've configured it. Again, all done without any code changes. Everyone is still on the latest version. We're still able to achieve this level of functionality. We've got everything to the left of the slider here. Everything to my right is the operations workbench, as it has been. Everything to my left is the Socotra Assistant. And the operator can still work directly with this portion, or they can operate through the Socotra Assistant, as Matt is doing, or go back and forth.
Thank you. So I want to focus in on just Socotra Assistant. So I am going to do a little bit of a zoom here. So everyone should be looking just at the right-hand pane here. And we've got the import is completed, and we can see 322 fields have been extracted. Now, we have some that are very high confident as to where they were not only extracted, but then pre-filled in the application. We've got some with a little bit lower confidence, and then we also have a couple conflicts. So I want to zoom in on those conflicts for a second. The first one, it navigates me and anchors me directly to the appropriate spot in the application where this conflict exists. And I can see that there's two versions of the name. One came from the body of the email, and this one, a little bit longer, came from the Accord form. Well, obviously in the email, they took a shortcut, but the actual name is Wellington HVAC and Mechanical Services, Inc. So I'll select that one, and I'll resolve that conflict. And now it's reduced to one conflict. The remaining one is underwriting question number 3. We don't have an answer. It seems like in the Accord form, they set it to yes, but in the body of the email, it was set to no. And what I want to do is I want to ask the agent for a final answer on this. So I'm going to add it to an email, which we will later be composing, but I'm not going to send that email just yet because there might be more things I still want to ask the agent. So before I compose it, we'll continue forward. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to validate the application. So when we're validating it, we're looking at the quality of the data. This means it could be requiredness. So is something missing, like this agency code right here? It could be the data is just poorly input. It could be characters in a phone number field. So we're looking for things like that. And we can see there are 6 issues here right now. I'll zoom in a little bit more. We've got 6 issues. And as I cycle through these, we can see they're all related to the agency details. So it must have been skipped in the forms, in the email. It didn't come through. Now, I could go searching for this as an underwriter, but that takes a lot of time. Instead, I'm going to try to resolve it in chat because I actually am familiar with Bridgeland and I know they've worked with us before. So I'm going to instead resolve this in chat, and as you can see, it actually adds a template response for me, or prompt. But instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to type my own to try to get all 4 fields answered at the same time.
Yep. So I'll talk while he types. This is a very relatable situation. You received an Accord form, a submission, and it doesn't have the contact info for the agent because presumably this agent already has a good relationship with the underwriter. What's the underwriter going to do? Going to look at other applications that we received, other submissions from this agent, and just borrow that contact info and bring it over.
So I'm just typing, Bridgeland Commercial Representatives has worked with us on other quotes. Please find Bridgeland on other policies. Find the phone, fax, etc., and update this quote. Okay.
Right.
So what's happening now is it's looking across the policy system to find Bridgeland, and if it can find it, it's going to get those details and it's going to update it for us. So as you can see, it's assisting the underwriter. It's also ensuring the data is entered correctly. If an underwriter had to manually enter this, they might make a mistake. Now, chat is an added feature here. Obviously, I'm sure many of you use things like ChatGPT. They're very dependent on the prompt that you put in. You need good prompt hygiene. And if I use one prompt twice the exact same way, I actually might get different results back. So while chat is really nice and helpful and an added feature, the actions, which I'm going to go back to in a second, are actually more guided. They are purpose-built with an intention. They're very tested and pre-configured by Socotra, and for that reason, they provide a lot of consistency. So we did get the details back from the agency, but I'm going to go back to the actions now, and what I'm going to do is we had 6 issues. I'll revalidate, and as we can see now, it's gone down to 2 because we've filled in those 4. I've got 2 more issues remaining. One is the NAICS code, the industry classifications code for this business is missing. I'm also going to add it to that email that we're going to compose and send back to the agent. And then finally, the last one, well, that's the underwriting question we've already added to the email. It had a conflict, and so it's still missing technically. So we've got those 2 issues. So now we're going to compose the email. I'm going to go over to this Compose tab. We can see the 2 items I've added during the process so far. I'm going to compose an email, and as we can see, we've got a template here which just pre-constructs that draft email. I'm going to just change the name instead from the email name to Thomas's actual name. And what we're going to do now is we're going to send this. Now, normally at this point, the underwriter's not going to sit around and wait for a response. They're going to go off and look for another task to work on. And so if I come here, we can see that task is pending a response. She now knows, or he now knows, that this task is in the agent's ball court, and she's going to wait for that to come back to her. But in the meantime, we want to wait for now the agent to respond. So here's the email that was just sent. Let's click into it. And we can see that it looks like the underwriter is requesting 2 pieces of data. Okay, so we're going to reply as the agent, and I'm going to say, hey, Atiti, the NAICS code is 238220, and please set the maintenance program question to no. Thanks, Thomas, and we'll send it back. Okay, so at this point, normally that underwriter is going to be working away doing whatever it is they're doing. But when they come back to this dashboard, when this indicator here goes back to a in review state, they're going to know it's back in their ball court to do some more analysis on this. So if I just update this, it might take just a second or so. Oh, it's already done. We can see it's now in review for the underwriter to finish. So I'm going to go to this quote again. And what we can see is automatically the NAICS code was already extracted from that email and added back into the application. And so we can see that conflict as well has been resolved for the underwriting question over here.
Great.
It's been answered. And when we validate, we can now see the issues are gone.
All right. So, and we can take this all the way through. Come visit us at booth 511, and you can see the rest of the underwriting workflow. Another thing that you can do for the carriers in the room, as mentioned, we can, using AI, we can do proof of concept projects very, very quickly. We did it hands on keyboard, having insurers do it for themselves in 1 hour. No matter how complex your product is, and we support P&C and most life products, all P&C products. We can get it into Socotra, the full product, in under a week with the agentic configurator. And then in a second week, we can set up the Socotra assistant with prompts to do everything you've seen here. And you'll be running the latest version that our other customers are running with your products doing this exact workflow in a 2-week POC. And the only thing left to go from there to production is review and testing. It is not throwaway code, it is merely not properly tested code. And with that, I think that is our time. I hope to see you, and our team hopes to see you at booth 511.
Thank you and the Socotra team very much for the presentation.